Right, good morning everybody and welcome to today's bite-sized webinar. For anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Twentyman, the BDM Unified Communications Manager. The topic of today's webinar is around all the latest news and updates on version 20, but really a focus on the importance of security. On the webinar with me today, I've got Andre, who's our SMB Channel Account Manager.
Hey there everyone, first time actually joining in this 3CX webinar, so great to see a lot of you here. And
awesome,
today,
thanks.
Oh, sorry Megan. And yeah, today just have a short segment as well that I'd like to share with you guys, which I feel would be very beneficial as well with the recent version 20 of 3CX. Thanks,
Awesome,
Megan.
Thanks, Andre. So for those of you that haven't met Andre yet, he moved into the SMB Channel Account Manager role just over 6 months ago, but he has actually been with Bluechip, or was Soft Solutions, for over 3 years working in our Manage Engine team. So he's very familiar with the business and enjoying his new role looking after our SMB channel across the country. As mentioned, we will stick to the bite-sized format today. If you have questions along the way, feel free to pop them in the Q&A or the chat box. I won't be answering those until we get to the end, but we will endeavour to answer all those questions at the end of the webinar. So let's get going. So on the agenda today is to look at the version 20 latest news, quickly touch on update 9A, which is now final for version 18, look at the migration from version 18 to version 20, an update on the new Windows soft phone. There's also some great new news on the iOS app. Then we'll look at security. Andre will have a segment on how Bluechip can help you with some of those security concerns that you will want to address for your customers. And then we'll wrap up with that Q&A like normal. So for those of you that have already got some instances on version 20 or are testing version 20, update 1 has now gone live for version 20. That was just a week or so, 10 days ago. Key updates in that update 1 are the scheduled reporting being back, much faster backup and restore. So I've got some stats here from 3CX. The old restore used to take on average 10 to 15 minutes. It's now about 5 to 8 minutes. And the old backup was kind of 11 to 20 minutes, and now it's in 2 to 3 minutes. So they're trying to make the product much more agile, and that is a focus in the future for 3CX as well. We've got the caller ID exceptions to working hours back in update 1. There's new integration for Pipedrive CRM. Presence for the bridges is back. So if you upgraded from version 18 to version 20 prior to update 1, any bridges moved across, but you couldn't edit them or add to them. Now you can with update 1. And there's also a new active calls view back on the admin dashboard or console that was there in the management console of version 18, and there's more to come in the next updates for 3CX as well. Other key news from version 20 is there is a alpha release of the Windows installer. Just a reminder that 3CX have announced that the Windows installer will only be for the enterprise licenses moving forward. Anyone on version 18 Pro and a Windows install, when you upgrade to version 20, 3CX will auto upgrade that until the end of the license term to an enterprise license. The renewal will then be at the enterprise license pricing. Other things on version 20 are that we will hold a webinar early next month alongside Sebastian from 3CX to look at the roadmap. I was in Sydney last week and got a really good insight into what's coming by the end of this year. So we will cover that off with everybody early next month, date to be confirmed. Now, just looking at version 18, the final update 9A for version 18 is now live, and it is highly recommended that you install this as soon as possible on version 18 installations. What it does is ensure that Android push notifications are extended to the end of 2024. The iOS push is extended through to the 25th of April 2025, and the license certificate renewal is extended to the 28th of February 2025. To be clear, 3CX have announced that version 18 is end of life at the end of 2024. So this year is about migrating customers when version 20 is ready for your customers to migrate 2. So just looking at those migration deadlines, there will be no further Debian 10 updates from July 2024 onwards. The 1st of July 2024 is when all NFRs need to be installed on version 20. So if you're using your NFR license for your live system or a test system, it needs to be up to version 20 before the 1st of July. The old free 4 simultaneous call standards need to be on version 20 by the 1st of July, and that will be the final extension of that. And there is you need to make a plan for that end of life license of what you're going to do, whether you're going to upgrade them to a paid pro license, migrate them across to the new SMB license. You need a plan, and you need to allow time to do that. You don't want to get to December and have those licenses cut off on you. The next important date in 2024 is the 1st of September. This is when all 3CX instances that are on 3CX's hosted service must be upgraded to version 20. So there's, a number of dates coming up, and time goes really quickly. We're almost at the end of May. The Windows soft phone, we touched on this last month, but just to recap, the switchboard view came back into the soft phone at the end of April. So that's the receptionist, the queue manager, the team leader with basic stats, and our all-time favorite, that drag and drop. Now, the next beta of the Windows soft phone was released last week, the 17th of May. This is bringing back things like controlling your desk phone from your soft phone. There's some quick action buttons that you can program. There's a new install option. So there is a MS Web installer. Note, you are responsible for keeping that up to date and secure if you don't use the Microsoft Store or Microsoft website options. On the roadmap for the Windows soft phone, the Yealink headset support will be back. We're just waiting on the Yealink team for the new drivers. Chat support is expected in June 2024. Video and scheduled conferences expected in July 2024, but just remember that is roadmap, so dates can change. The key thing that 3CX are working on with the Windows soft phone is to get parity to the legacy soft phone, so that legacy soft phone can finally be retired and put to bed. We've tried many times, but we really do need to do that now. The other exciting news is the latest iOS app beta, and I am on test flight, so I've got this beta, and it's so exciting to see my 3CX icon on my CarPlay. So you can see I've got a little arrow there because I just really like it. So what this is allowing you to do is to be able to call using 3CX from your car, chat from your car with 3CX, view your team and contacts from 3CX, and listen to your voicemail, access your call history. You can add a contact to CRM or Microsoft 365. And there's lots of different settings coming. So we're starting to see that real flexibility for those of us that spend a lot of time on the road. Now, to the core of today's webinar, that's all the kind of updates, is looking at 3CX security. So for many, many years, security has been at the heart of 3CX. We all know what happened in 2023, and that the hardening of security has become even more important. I have a bit of a saying, which many of you will have heard me say before, is that anyone can sell 3CX, anyone can install it, but not everyone can do it right. And it's the doing it right that is the most important part of your 3CX instance. The 3CX certifications cover all the best practice. And that's the real key, is making sure that your installs are to best practice. There is a lot of advanced security features there. They are there for a reason. It is really, really important that we use them. Key considerations, and I've just listed off a few. Don't take this as the be all and the end all of the list. You want to restrict access to that admin console. You can lock that down by IP address. One thing I've had a few customers ring up about is they have access and they travel overseas and they no longer have access because it's locked down by IP address. So just consider people's needs and set it up accordingly. You've got the IP blacklist that came in version 16, great feature. Static IP is definitely recommended to ensure that there's no downtime. Think about your allowed countries. And in version 20, 3CX introduced 2FA. It's really important to implement that. I strongly urge everybody to implement the 2FA when they go to version 20. Now, we all know that 3CX removed the welcome email that had usernames and passwords and the QR code. That all got taken away from the welcome email. And now it's up to each end user, each end customer's user, to actually set their passwords. So who is your weakest security link? Now it is the users of 3CX that are that weakest link. So what we're looking at today is how can Bluechip Infotech New Zealand help you? Andre is going to briefly introduce some product options for password management and security awareness training, because those are things that really are important across the business in general, not just for 3CX. But as I say, for me, the weakest part now is people that set silly passwords if they use a password that's already been leaked out into the world. So it really is important. Now, Andre is going to tell me when to click to the next slide, but I'm going to hand over to Andre to walk us through the next few slides around why these features are important, and hopefully I get the clicking right. So over to you, Andre.
Perfect. Thank you, Megan. So for those who may have joined a bit later as well, just a quick intro. I am the SMB Channel Manager at Bluechip Infotech, and today I just wanted to do a short segment on password management and security awareness training that we have to offer as well. So firstly, I would like to ask you a question. A rhetorical question is, do your customers have a password manager? And how confident are you that your customers are managing their passwords securely? So in recent days, not enough action is being taken for security. So this results in weak passwords being created. And most importantly, which is very common, is the same passwords are used across multiple accounts. Now, a key thing to take away here is cyber criminals target weak passwords. So with phishing attacks getting more sophisticated today, this is where the need for the right password management and security awareness training is available for your customers. So Megan, let's do the next slide, please. And so nowadays, the common insecure use of password management, which you guys may come across, is Excel sheets and then browser password managers like Google Chrome. So these can pose a great risk to the organization. So this lack of security with strong passwords in unsecured methods can result in problems for the organization. So without the use of a true password management solution, companies often have limited insight into how these passwords are being created by these employees, as well as how they're being managed. So why do you need a password manager? It's by using the right solution for your customers. Password managers can help store passwords securely and greatly reduce the risk of breaches. So some of these benefits include having the convenience of using a single master password to access all your accounts. And then as well as that, you also have the convenience of accessing these passwords all from a secure and single location. Now, to be able to securely share these passwords within your organization with the password manager is a great benefit, because this way you're not decrypting the contents of the password and your passwords are kept secure. It is very common nowadays. Maybe you find some customers that are sharing passwords, just fully decrypting the content of the password and sending them across Teams or emails, which poses a great security risk to the organization. Now, as part of our offering, we have two password management solutions to look at. Our first one we have is LastPass MSP. So we jump to the next slide, Megan. And LastPass MSP is a great solution. First started off as an end user based password management solution, and now has reached a business grade solution and also has a MSP offering. It's an all-in-one single sign-on and password management solution designed specifically for MSPs. Now, some of the benefits included are the multi-tenanted portal, so MSPs can easily manage all their customers, all from the convenience of a single console. As well as that, end user management, so end users themselves can manage these passwords from within the LastPass console, and MSPs as well can manage the passwords for them. MSPs can also apply password policies as per the organizational requirements, which is very important, just to ensure that these passwords that are being created are strong and secure. Now, monthly billing is included as well, very flexible. You've got MSPs only pay for the seats that they require, so you'd be able to scale up or down based on the usage of the month. Now, with LastPass MSP as well, we have a security dashboard and a range of reports to choose from. This gives you, as the provider, to get more of a clear idea of the security posture of your customers. And as well as that, you'd be able to identify certain areas that may need improvement as well. Now, some benefits as well with LastPass, you get some freebies alongside it with it. So we've got 5 NFR licenses that are included and also a family personal license to use internally. Now, we also do have another option in terms of password management. Megan will jump to the next slide, which is Keep a Security MSP. Now, it would be the next tier of password management as it is built for SMBs as well as enterprise customers, as it also includes privileged access management as part of its options. Now, it uses military-grade encryption, which is 256-bit encryption, not just for the vault, so you can ensure all the passwords stored in there are kept secure. Now, what Keep a Security MSP actually follow is zero-knowledge architecture. So what exactly is zero-knowledge architecture? So this means that not even Keeper MSP, they have no idea what your password is. And this way you can ensure that your passwords are encrypted and protected with a master password. As well as that, you definitely do have the option of having 2-factor authentication alongside that, just to ensure that it is you accessing these passwords. And as well, similar to LastPass MSP, we've got freebies involved with Keeper Security MSP, which includes with the enterprise license, you would have a free personal license for internal use. Now we jump to the next slide. As I mentioned earlier, we were talking about security awareness training. Now, security awareness training is very important. I once dealt with a client that was dealing with one of their end users. And what they didn't know is they had a hacker that was sitting in their mailbox, studying the way emails are being exchanged. Now, one day this hacker decided, let me imitate one of their clients and request for a 6-figure hedge fund to be sent over. Now, the biggest issue here was all it took was an email approval, a yes, I approve, and that large sum of money was sent over to the customer. Well, in this case, the hacker. Now, this is a huge risk because one of the biggest vulnerabilities in cybersecurity today is human error. And the only way to do it, because we can give them email filtering solutions, we can do password management, but the only way to eliminate the issue of human error is training, security awareness training. So with security awareness training, we have an offering called uSecure, which is very well priced. And it is a multi-tenanted dashboard that allows you to manage all your clients and provide a tailored security training, as well as running phishing simulations for your customers. So that way they'd be able to recognize and identify possible cyber threats they may encounter. Now, everything is fully automated as well, requires very little technician intervention post the initial onboarding. Now, with uSecure as well, as part of the offering, they also do have uBreach, so that offers dark web monitoring and helps you to monitor any leaked credentials that may be in your customer's environment. And finally, with uSecure as well, you have the option of doing white labeling, so you can completely rebrand the solution and offer it as a service to your customers. So if any of these solutions would be of interest for you and you'd like to know more about it, you can feel free to reach out to me or even contact our sales team at sales@bluechipit.co.nz, and we'd be happy to help. Now I'm just handing it over back to Megan as well, who just has a few more updates and before our Q&A session. So thanks for having me. See ya.
Awesome. Thanks, Andre. That was great. I'm sure people will have questions, so do feel free to reach out. Andre's direct email address is andre@bluechipit.co.nz, just like our normal format, or you can reach out to our UC team as well, and we'll put you in touch with the right people. Andre as SMB Channel Account Manager, or the relevant product managers. So these products are outside of my portfolio, but we do have product managers with lots of knowledge that can help anybody that has an interest. So just to do a really quick wrap up around the security, as I said, the weakest link is the end customer now being able to set their password, and if they get hacked, that kind of thing, because it's a simple password, that's a real problem. So really do think about that security. Technical trainings, we're still waiting for those resets of the certifications. When I was in Sydney last week, I asked the question of Nicholas Perez, who's the global trainer. It should be happening very soon, but as soon as we have that, we will let you know, and we'll start rolling out our trainings here in New Zealand. Remember to stay up to date with our communications so that you don't get caught short with missing out on news. So we have our monthly UC channel update newsletter that'll be going out next week. We have our weekly newsletter, particularly the events section for things that are coming up. And then we have our LinkedIn closed community group where we post everything first. We can't expect you to go to 3CX's website each morning and check what's happening in the world, but we post that into there and then wrap it up in that newsletter. As always, you can reach out to the UC team on uc@bluechipit.co.nz, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Now, I'm just going to jump back across to our platform and see if we've got any questions. So thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will definitely open the floor for the questions, and we'll see if we can get those answered. Okay, I'm just scrolling up. Give me a second. Will the Windows version be out before the 1st of July? Our expected anticipation there is yes, it will be. It's in alpha at the moment. I haven't had any further feedback from the alpha with the Windows installer as yet, but from what I heard, they expect that to be there, which is why the dates have been set as they are. Updating NX32 light systems. We'll take that offline, Mark. I think I've already sent you some information, but I can resend that through. And anybody else that has any of those devices, feel free to reach out and we'll assist you there. I'll just make a note of that, Mark. CallFlow Designer apps made the first release of version 20. So those are in there and you can create new ones. They've also released more of the APIs for version 20 with some documentation, and we're expecting more documentation on those APIs. So there's kind of a less of a reliance on the CallFlow Designer and more in using the APIs. So we'll see where that goes. Okay. Okay, so a couple of people have said that can we leave any other products to the end? As you know, my webinars on a monthly basis are on 3CX. Security for 3CX is a very imperative part of it, and what we're doing here today is sharing some products that we have available. It was certainly not meant to be a hard sales pitch. It was just getting people thinking about what they need in their businesses, and it was at the end of the presentation.
Sorry, and just to add as well, as Vincent, I see your query there in terms of automated transfer. So does LastPass move passwords automatically from Google to LastPass? That feature is not available at this stage, but you do have the option of doing a CSV import. So it's very easy to import passwords into LastPass as well. I'm happy to provide some more information for that as well.
Awesome, thanks, Andre. With the standard for simultaneous call licenses, will they just stop working after 1st of July? If they've been updated to version 20 prior to the 1st of July, they will be extended out to the end of 2024. At the end of 2024, they will cease to work. So you do need to have a migration plan for those licenses. They've been announced as end of life since the end of 2022. So you do need to have a migration plan around those. Has version 20 been upgraded to allow third-party SIP trunks like in version 18? The generic is not there yet, but it is coming very, very soon, is my understanding. I haven't actually checked the latest update since update 1 went live, so I will double check that, and I will come back to you on that. Sam? For the test flight, that's available in the beta app announcements. So for iOS, it's called Test Flight. So at the bottom of the blog post, you will see the invite to get that, and then you constantly get updated to the betas. I use it all the time on my mobile phone because I always want to see what's coming. So just go to the blog and the latest update, and you'll be able to get access to Test Flight very, very easily and quickly. Are there any features that still haven't been migrated to version 20 that were available on version 18, and would these be included in update 2? So the majority of the features have now migrated across to version 20. I just need to get my hands on the slide deck that I saw briefly in Sydney last week, which has the roadmap for updates 2, 3, and 4, which is to the end of this year. And we will be presenting that early next month. So at the moment, our recommendation is version 20. You should definitely be testing it, getting familiar with the admin console, and starting to migrate some of those smaller instances across, and saving your larger ones until later. One of the key things was that scheduled reporting, which is back in update 1. A lot of things that we're going to miss the version 20 launch actually made the launch, so that was fantastic. Version 18 Call Flow Designer, yes, it works perfectly on version 20. Someone's already done a quick check on version 20 that the generic SIP trunk is there. You may have been referencing whether the generic SIP trunk is there for the hosted by 3CX service. It was meant to be back in update 1, but I'll have to spin up a test and test that. So there are differences between version 18 and version 20, and that's a really important thing to note. Version 20 was completely re-engineered from the bottom up, and things are designed to work slightly differently. So, you know, it's a matter of testing. We've been urging people to be testing for almost a year now. I think, actually, no, it's more like 9 months. I think it's 9 months. We're always 9 months with 3CX. But you need to test out what you use with your customers, because like all products, lots of people use different parts of it and that type of thing. So, you know, you need to see what's there, what's missing for you. Keep an eye on the forums of what's coming. And as I say, we are going to share the roadmap. I just have to pin Sebastian down for time early next month. He's currently on a flight back from Sydney to Cyprus. And he'll be back online early next week, and we'll get that all set up and share the roadmap out to everybody next month. All right. Any final questions? Seems to have gone a little bit quiet, and a few people have dropped off, which is fine. So we have stuck to our bite-size format. We opened up the Q&A just after 20 minutes into the webinar. Thank you to those that have joined us today. Doesn't look like there's any more questions coming in, so we will wrap up. We will share the recording of this webinar to everybody, and go from there. Thank you for joining us today. As I said, the purpose of today's webinar was to look at security functions that you need to consider for your clients around 3CX, so that you can keep the product nice and secure. So, no further questions are coming in, so we're going to end the webinar, and thank you very much. Thanks, Andre, for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and great to see you guys here as well. See you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.